Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Age of Charlemagne Total War. Today we're going to be taking a look at another battle replay. This was submitted by Arius, who you might know from some of the previous videos I've done as Big Hoss. He's going to be playing as the Kingdom of Asturias, and then Super Soldier 928 will be playing the Kingdom of Charlemagne. So let's just skip everything else and jump right into it. Alright, so right off the bat you can see a huge difference in just what type of armies they're bringing. Kingdom of Charlemagne's bringing some elite heavier infantry, paying more money, making them elite as well, giving them a silver chevron. We'll go ahead and look at this now as well. 10-minute battle? Alright, we have plenty of time. Okay, so for, what's his name again? I think he changed his name to Asius. Something like that. Big Hoss. We'll just call him Big Hoss for now. He's brought with him, for the Kingdom of Asturias, he's brought 1, 2, 3 of these tribesmen. 1, 2, 3 light spear infantry on the right flank. And for his main body of his infantry, he brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these kind of just regular Iberian swordsmen. And then he's brought 1, 2 of these royal guardsmen, which are really heavy infantry. They look really good too. I like these tabards they have over them, or jerkins, or I can't remember the actual term for it now. Oh, that's gonna really annoy me for the rest of the match if I can't remember what those are called. But anyways, his general unit is a Royal Guard Cavalry. Sorry, I'll turn it so you can face them. Then back here on the last line, he has Iberian Cav, Iberian Cav, Royal Cav. So he's got 3 Iberian Cav and 2 Royal. No, he's got 1 Royal Cav and 1 Royal Knight. These Royal Knights are very, very good. I think the Royal Cavalry looks slightly different. Not too much of a difference. Okay, and let's go ahead and go check out the army of Charlemagne over here. So we have a archer, 1, 2, 3, 4 archer units here. For the main body of his army, he has a bunch of these mounted swordsmen, which look pretty cool as well. But he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Then he's also got 3 Scola. No, he's got 1 Scola Cav and 2 Frankish Cav. These Scola Cav are pretty good. Then over here he has, I would assume, 2 more Frankish Cav, another Scola. No, 3 Frankish. Okay. And then he's got a Palace Guard. No, these are just armored spearmen here. And then he has a guardsman unit for his general. Oh, I missed a unit here. Oh, no, I didn't. So, very different builds. Charlemagne here has opted to go for a elitist build, elite units, and he's upgraded them to silver chevrons. A lot of these cav units is infantry units. Very interesting. He didn't do it for his general or his ranged units, so I'm not a big fan of his build right off the bat. I don't think that's the most effective way he could have ran things. And then Big Hoss here is going for kind of more of a traditional, I feel, build. Especially with Asturias, they have no missile units, really. They have to rely on precursors for missiles. So he's going to want to close the distance quicker. He has the infantry number advantage, so he's going to really want to be able to close the distance, get around these flanks as quickly as possible, you know, avoid as much damage from these archers as possible. You really want to minimize the effectiveness of those. And then he also needs to be a little bit careful of the cavalry, just because they do have chevrons. Those Scola Cav are pretty tough. Royal Knights and the Royal Cav are pretty tough as well, but he is outnumbered in cavalry. So he does have one advantage that the Asturias here has brought, is just these spears with precursors that can back him up, which is going to definitely come in handy, because anytime these cavalry units try to get close, he's going to be able to unleash some precursors, and if they get tangled up in a melee combat, obviously the spear units are going to be able to be very effective against the cavalry in the long run. So this is a very classical build that I see him bring a lot, very classical strategy that even I've adopted. It's the main body and then a left and right flank, and the left and right flank are composed of your cavalry and some spear units you bring to shield them, provide them with backup against other cavalry, or to just be straight up meat shields. If they were to send another heavier spear unit at me, I would just throw one of these, you know, if you were to, just for example, if you were to throw this spearman, which it looks like he's going to do, this armored spearman. This armored spearman is pretty tough, pretty heavily armored, so you don't want it to be tangling with your Royal Knights or your Iberian cavalry. So one option is once all of this starts to happen, one of these spear units will be used to tangle that up. You just don't want that spear unit in and amongst your cavalry if you can avoid it. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have our first engagement possibly over here. He's only peeled off one of his spear units, which is all he really needed to do. All he has to do is catch these cavalry units, and he's going to win here. He's got them outnumbered just in pure amounts of cavalry, because he is bringing his general up. Some Frankish cav and Iberian cav, probably pretty similar in skill here. But then over here we have the Royal Cav have hit the Scola Cav, which is going to be a little bit tougher of a fight. Both are slightly more heavily armored. But he did get his tribesmen into that, and then he's also bringing his Royal Guard cavalry into this fight. But it's not going to last long. He's routed both of these cav units, and I'm just going to say it now. The fact that the Charlemagne faction has lost their cav advantage, they no longer have more cav, I think that just lost him the match. Losing those cav units probably lost him the match there, because now, if we can just take a look here at this map, you can see that, Asturias can create a line like this, whereas Charlemagne can only create a line like this, which means Asturias is going to be able to lock his infantry down and flank him with infantry and cavalry. Before, Charlemagne had at least the cav advantage, so he could at least circle around the infantry, and even though the infantry was going to circle his infantry line a little bit, he would have been able to use his cavalry. That looks really strange, but he would have been able to use his cavalry to outflank Asturias' cavalry, where he just had more of them if he'd won the cav fight, and then he would have been able to start doing some hammer and anvils, which would have saved him the match. But I don't even think that it's I mean, he still has a chance. No game is ever completely over in the first 5 minutes, but I do believe that if I've seen anything that cinched a match, it was that victory over his cav. He still does have 5 units of cav, but he lost 2 of the units, which were probably his most valuable assets in this fight. Excuse me, sorry, I'm just taking a drink of water, but looks like Asturias is moving up on the left flank here. We have these tribesmen getting into position, making sure that his cavalry can't be flanked by anything. Just making sure he stops. He put this unit of spears here, this tribesman unit, so that one of these cav units didn't try and, sneak past. Very easy to get through there. This one was to just really wrap up some of the infantry, and then he's going to try and wrap up some more. It looks like he's just going to full on charge the spears here, which are in shield wall, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, he's not charging. Yeah, that's nice. That was smart. I didn't even think about that. I always forget Asturias is such a like ambusher, kind of skirmisher styled faction. So these Iberian cav have precursors, which is very handy. So he's going to be able to hit these guys, not for very much. He killed 5 of them. But now we are starting to mix and match here. So we're slishing and sloshing through this area. Yeah, but just like I said, he's used these tribesmen to tie up this mounted swordsman, which is a very expensive unit because it's a heavy melee unit, and it also has silver chevron. And so even though I know he didn't take any losses on this Royal Knight, so yeah, he's destroyed one of these mounted swordsmen before it's even able to do anything. He is losing one of his tribesmen units here, and these Frankish cav are chasing here along with these armored spearmen. But we are in full movement now, pulling back a little bit. Ooh, using the wrong arrow there. Pulling back a little bit, kind of drawing his cavalry out. The spears can't keep up with the cavalry, so the longer he draws this out, the farther behind the spears fall, and then he can go ahead and charge this Frankish cav, which is exactly what he's done. And not only is he's able to hit it with 2 cav units, and instead of using his spear unit in that fight to end it quicker, he's sending the spear unit to tie up this armored spearman so that they don't charge into this and wreck things up. which was very smart on his part. Now this tribesman unit is just standing there. However, keep in mind that replays are not always the most accurate of things. A lot of times they change slightly upon rewatching. You know, just because I've talked about this a few times, but you know, every single thing doesn't go the same in a replay. The actual moves the players make stay the same, but the outcome of those moves can change very slightly. But it does look like he got his tribesman unit back here into the Charlemagne's general, which is quite surprising. I'm not sure why Charlemagne allowed him to do that. And as you can see now that he's tied up, you know, this force over here, even if he loses that battle, it's fine because he won the fight on this this other flank here, and now he is free to move in his cav, and his infantry doesn't really even have a job anymore. His infantry can move up, they can tie these mounted swordsmen down and then outflank, but really the match is over here. There's really not much more to this. Charlemagne is going to win this fight over here, but that was more of a distraction fight, more of a skirmish to pull his cavalry away from the fight for as long as possible, allowing, really allowing Asturias to wrap in here, get his cavalry in and amongst the archers, kill his general, and the fight is really over. It's just a matter of mopping things up now for Asturias. Charlemagne can still do some damage. He's got Frankish cav, and a armored spearman unit, as well as these heavy mounted swordsmen, which, you know, are going to beast out these regular swordsman unit for sure, but that's fine because Asturias is going to begin flanking them on every side with infantry, with cavalry. He's just going to sandwich this very small and short line that Charlemagne was able to put up, and the battle's going to be over before it even began. And I really still attribute, I mean, I'm not saying that Asturias, my friend Big Hoss, wouldn't have won if he hadn't have won this cav fight, but I'm saying that cav fight that was over there was very vital to an easy success in this fight. So yeah, 58 seconds left of this fight, and it's really just down to these infantry units kind of duking it out, cavalry, hammer and anvil tactics, smash what's left of resistance, but it should be over pretty shortly. Oh, here we go. Boom. I don't know what's going over in this little pocket of... Oh, this is the spearman unit he had left over. Yeah? Am I right? Yes, I am. Okay, that's his... That's a tribesman versus armored spears. Armored spears will win this fight, but I mean... it doesn't matter. I mean, these tribesmen are really only here to tie it up. And now he's going to play with them. He's using these tribesman units here to bombard his armored spears with jabs, because if he loses this tribesman unit, it doesn't matter. So he's just trying to end the battle quicker, and there it is. There's the victory for Asturias. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at the aftermatch. Yes, Arias. Okay, so victory for Arias of Asturias. Good job, good fight, and a good fight to Super Soldier 928 as well. You put up a good fight at Charlemagne. Very interesting build. Not sure if I fully agree with it, but you know what? Everyone's got to try new things, especially with Age of Charlemagne, where it's still a little bit new. People are still, it's not as popular in multiplayer, so people are just kind of goofing around, but interesting build. As you take a look here, you can see the massive effect that his heavy cavalry had, Asturias. 160 kills, 122, 217. Even this light one had 155. These two Iberian Cav, 20 and 6, not as much, but that's all right. His Royal Guardsmen, not too many kills, not enough kills to make it worth it, but they didn't really get injured either. They weren't really in any long, prolonged fight, so it's not like they didn't perform well, they just didn't get a lot of action. And kind of the same with these swordsman units. Except for the fact that these swordsman units were really used to tie down these mounted swordsmen, which were really heavy infantry, so they were going to lose, and these are silver chevrons, so they were going to lose. These were just a holding force, which is just fine to see them with these amount of kills. And then over here, we see some kind of interesting ups and downs. Tribesmen, obviously these tribesmen were used kind of as a versatile shielding force, or screening force. They're spearman units, so they can stop charges. They're cheap, so they can be used to... actually, these tribesmen might be more expensive. I can't remember now. I'll have to check. But they can be used as a screening force because they're spearmen, but they're also a skirmisher because of their precursor javs. So very interesting units. Not as many kills as I would have expected, except for this one, 161. That's really impressive. So not a whole lot here to look at. And if you look over here at the Kingdom of Charlemagne, you'll see what I was kind of talking about. His cav was his main advantage that he could have used to his effect, but he got 0 kills with this, 1 kill with this, 37 and 2, and all these units, all 4 of these units were destroyed completely. This one got quite a few, 153 and 151. That's really good. General 10 kills. He absolutely should not have left his general back there to just get charged by spearmen. That was very, very silly of him, but you know, maybe he wasn't paying attention. Now, his armored units here did get considerable amount of kills because a lot of times they were tied up with other infantry, and these infantry are better than any of the infantry that Asturias brought, but they're very few in numbers. So, sure, they might have gotten quite a few kills, but then they eventually got outflanked by cavalry or other infantry and then killed off. As you can see, almost all of these, besides the armored spearmen, just were annihilated. The archers, which was another advantage he had, did not get used to maximum effectiveness. 0 kills, 2 kills, 7 and 27. So really here, not much to say. Kingdom of Charlemagne tried an interesting build that I don't really recommend. He didn't use his cavalry properly. He didn't get to maximize their effectiveness or the effectiveness of his archers. His infantry obviously performed quite well because they were a holding force and they're a better infantry unit than anything Asturias brought, but it wasn't enough. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to be trying to do a few more videos this weekend while I have some time off and no homework, so you should be getting more videos in this next week than I've been able to post since I moved, which will be nice. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.